Where are the best places to meet Filipinos? Number one, in the Philippines, although they are scattered all over the world. One of the countries with the most OFWs, overseas Filipino workers in the world. How about the online dating sites? There are probably dozens of them, some a little bit free. Most, to really get more involved, you need to pay a fee. Now, I've had 3 trips and 8 years living in the Philippines, and talked to a lot of expats who have lots of experience. I have met I have met 3 girls online sites actually, and the third one I'm with for several years, and actually have a pretty good relationship. And I'll do another video about that sometime in the near future. But what you hear from many people is that you're not sure what you're getting when you finally meet that person, and maybe you've been online with this person a year or 2 or 3, and I've had the same experience in the USA. When you finally meet them, it's not the person that you thought you were going to meet. Their likes, their dislikes, their just a lot of things just don't match up. I'm going to give you the pros and cons of meeting at many different places, but first, listen to this. Liberation of Cebu on March 26, 1945. American forces landed at Talisay to begin the liberation of Cebu from the Japanese. As I was saying, I'm going to give you the pros and cons of several different places to meet Filipinos in the Philippines. Um, Cultural events like this are my top choice. This happens to be a Sinulog festival, a couple of weeks, about 2.5 weeks here in Cebu City. Every city barangay has some sort of fiesta throughout the year, one or more, as a matter of fact. And this is called the Carbone. Carbone is a big public market downtown area of Cebu City. Very seldom see many foreigners down here. And I was warned about going down here early on, 2015. Sir, it's too dangerous down there. And back before I came, I understood that it used to be a little bit more dangerous, pickpockets and snatchers and such. But they have, past mayors have cleaned it up. They've got a lot more police presence, especially undercover types, and much safer. Like any crowd, you need to be careful when you're around a lot of people, and be observant. Don't carry valuables, or at least keep them well hidden. But this is a hawking center, a new hawking center, and they've got dozens and dozens and dozens of food choices down here. Lots of seating, lots of people down here, and my experience over the 8 years here is that it's not unusual to be approached in the malls, out walking at events like this. And I'll get into some of those places later, but people that come to some place like this in the evening to buy foods, oftentimes with their friends, they have time. They're not working. They have time to sit and chat, to meet people, and you can see them face to face, sit down and talk to them. And like I said, it's Filipinos are very, very friendly, and they will take the time and show interest in you. That is not to say that every young, pretty Filipina is interested in a retired older gentleman, but with 115 million people in a very small country, that still leaves a couple million who are interested. They will almost always be very polite, but don't take that to mean that they are interested in you. I've got a friend of many years, and he used to take the friendliness of Filipinos, waitresses, various restaurants he would go to. He took their friendliness to mean that they were interested in him, which usually wasn't the case. How about malls? There are lots of malls, especially in the bigger cities. And my observation and experience is that it is not unusual to be approached in the mall by girls. My observation is also that many of the girls, not all, but many of the girls that approach you in the mall are possibly not the type, unless you're just looking for a real short 1 day, 1 week relationship type thing.
How much do they charge for one of these spots?
I was trying to find out what they charge for one of these spots, and after some discussion, I never did really find out. A little later on, I'll tell you about even just, I think, 40 pesos, something like that, to rent ones outside of this area. The best place inside of the malls to meet a girl. Now, 80% of my viewers are male, and I don't want to leave the females out here, but in the stores, the sales ladies, sales guys, if you're looking for a guy, but the sales ladies, they have time. Their job is customer service, is to try to sell you something. They usually have many more salespeople than are necessary, and my experience has been, I've been surrounded by a number of Filipinas and guys too, and the second question is always, "Where's your wife, sir?" "No wife." "Oh, she is looking. Give her your phone number, sir." And it's that easy, and you can strike up a conversation one-on-one. I can't tell you how many times I've had a group of them surround me, and once you start talking to one, a couple more will come over, and just a matter of talking with them, getting a couple phone numbers, and then taking it from there. Go into the stores, talk to the sales clerks. How about bars and discos, that sort of thing? Well, my observation here again, my experience is that unless you're looking for a shorter relationship type, probably best not to find them there. Although I've talked to a bar owner who told me that foreigners are marrying all of his best waitresses. So I mean, it happens on a regular basis. They go in, they drink, they meet somebody, and it goes from there. Now, my experience here just recently, a couple of months ago, I was in a bar a neighborhood bar that had seating inside and outside. I was inside. There was a girl that came and kind of stood around the outside area for a while, probably hoping somebody would buy her a drink, chat with her, and anyway, she came inside and she stood right beside my table, and I had to tell her 3 times that she didn't say anything. She just stood there right beside me. And I had to tell her 3 times that I already have a girlfriend. And she finally went outside, stayed there a while, and then she finally left, probably walked down to the next bar. Go to the province, or go to the province and find a province girl. They have not been to the city. They're not materialistic yet. They don't know about the big city and all the bright lights and malls. That is probably the one advice that I have gotten the most here in the Philippines from taxi drivers and others. Go to the province. Every place is in a province technically here, just like in the United States of America. Every place is in a state, unless you're in a territory. So province generally means outside of the big city. So they're not corrupted and materialistic yet, I guess. I've also had a lot of foreigners, a lot of expats who have retired here, plan to retire here, tell me the same thing, especially early on, first couple of years. "Sir, go to the province, live in the province, it's much cheaper, you don't have the hassles of the traffic of the city." Anyway, I'm farther into the Carbone public market area now. Government gives them these stalls for 40 pesos per day, I guess, is what the one lady was telling me. They've got some of them, they have to set their things up each and every day at night. At a certain time, they're It's like 6 p.m. I think they're allowed to come in and set them up. I'm not sure of all the details. I think there are some areas they're allowed to stay up pretty much permanently. Maybe the ones where this would normally be a street still is, as you can see. There's motorbikes. This is a two-way street right here. People coming and going from both directions. The narrow little, plus the pedestrian walkway. So it does get interesting, and this wasn't quite the busy time of the evening yet. Nearly all of these clothes are what they call ukai, used clothing. And they get them in these big bales. And I met a guy when I was selling warehouse equipment in Phoenix, Arizona, and he had a big processing area where they were washing and cleaning, and all the used clothing. I guess the charities couldn't sell or give away; they were getting too much. They would bale them up, and they, in particular, they were sending the bales. This is all clothes. They were sending them off to Africa. That's why you see people all over the world in the poor areas selling T-shirts with American U.S. sports teams and such. I'm going to tell you a couple other things that I've been told by many people, expats and well, not Filipinos, I don't think, but expats say, oh, you need to move at least 2 islands away from the family. When you meet a girl and you settle down with one, you should move at least 2 islands away. So they're not their families here tend to live in big groups, very close families, and you'll go into an area in the province, in the country, and they've got families and clans. They've got extended families, and they all own the property around there. It's almost like a small village within the province, and all the houses are owned by uncles and aunts and nephews and nieces, and they all live around there. And I had a friend who he knew some people up in one of the mountains over on Negros Island. They were going to offer him land if he'd build a house. And his statement, he was interested in one of the girls there, his statement, I would have to build a fence around my house so people aren't coming and bothering all the time. Well, that ain't going to go over very well in the Philippines with a Philippine family, I can tell you that. On the other hand, I've had, I understand, I've observed that different expats, they've had relationships with girls, and they've moved them. A couple of them moved them from up on Luzon Island, moving them down here to Cebu area. And after maybe 6 months to a year here, the girl just was unhappy. She claimed she couldn't get a job. She'd go apply for jobs, and she probably didn't want a job down here. She probably didn't accept any job offers because she wanted to go home. She wanted to live close to her family. And that's something you're going to have to deal with. The girl may be homesick. You know, they're much younger than you. They're very family oriented here, and they may not be happy on another island. They may want to go visit their family on a regular basis. So keep that in mind.
Push harder. Yeah.
More clothes, I think. And somebody's going to tell me that I forgot some place. Anyway, I'll sum this up, end it with resorts and churches. You know, if you're going to be at a resort for a number of days, very good chance you can meet somebody in that resort area. There again, just keep in mind, they may not want to move away from the family that lives in that area. Churches, over 80% Catholic. Here, but there are many other types of churches here as well, different Protestant denominations, and so that is an option if you want to find somebody in church, somebody who probably believes a little more like you religiously, because religious can be a factor in a relationship. The security guy was trying to be helpful and friendly, and I was trying to be friendly back, and I made the mistake of telling him that, yeah, I'm in here, I'm doing video. And he said, sorry to tell you, sir, but you're not allowed to take video inside that building, one of the new buildings here. Anyway, that's it. Looking for your comments. See you next time.